All right, following a trip to the southern border, our next guest blasting ICE as heartless and now introducing legislation to abolish the agency completely. Democratic Congressman Mark Pocan is not alone either. He co-chairs the House Progressive Caucus, and he joins us now to explain. This is an interesting little trend. Why are you behind it?
Well, unfortunately, the president's created this situation where ICE isn't doing what it was created to do. It's being used as his own personal police force, and in those actions, it's actually making us less safe because the critical functions of ICE can no longer happen when the president's got them going after people in churches and workplaces. Right. It's just been made a mess.
Why would someone from ICE go after someone in a workplace?
Well, originally, let's go back to why we created ICE.
Could you answer that question?
Sure. We took 20 different agencies, put it into what was ICE after 9/11, and instead of going after terrorists, now we're going after people who get a traffic ticket, and that's, again, a violation of what ICE was about. So, unfortunately, the president has so damaged ICE that it can't function the way it was intended to, and we really need those functions to happen.
So you want the functions to happen. They wouldn't happen without them. So your answer is because you don't like the president.
You're wrong there, Brian. Actually, you're wrong there because the bill that we are introducing would have a commission to look at those essential functions, which there are of ICE, go back to the agencies that already do some of those.
What are their essential functions?
Well, again, we created after 9/11, right? I don't think I need to explain why it was created at that point.
They got people here illegally that have committed crime. They're going to focus on.
Yeah, but see, that's one of the myths, Brian. So that's one of the points I'm glad you brought up.
And if they have to do that in a situation where they have to surprise that person, they're not going to like that. But ICE's job is to keep us safe and follow that up. Go ahead. What's the problem?
Yeah, sure. That's the misinformation that's out there, right? The president keeps saying we're doing this to stop all the crime, all the MS-13. I think it was 228 people at the end of the last fiscal year out of over 300,000 that came to the border were MS-13. So, again, he's taking an entire group of people and branding them as criminals, which is just false. So
how many illegals, Congressman, how many illegals have you captured?
So either the president is grossly
how many people have you cracked down on?
The most uninformed president since I've been on the planet, 53 years.
We're talking about ICE. We're talking about ICE.
No,
you want to get rid of people.
This is the problem.
You want to give people that are putting their lives on the line, making an average $61,000, and telling them, you told me in the break, their brand has been so damaged. Their brand is keeping America safe, cracking down on illegals here.
Brian,
and you seem more concerned about illegals than you are about the men and women who decide to go through the academy and qualify for ICE.
Okay, so, Brian, that was a great morning dose of rhetoric. You did a great job on that.
Well,
but
that's your review of what I said. Those cold
Brian,
facts.
You gonna let me talk? Okay. So what I'm saying is we're not going after the average criminal. What you're supposed to do is go after people who pose a real threat. It was created after 9/11 with the main focus being around people who might have terrorist activity. Now we're going after people with a traffic violation at a church or at a workplace. That doesn't make any sense. So the president's using it as his own police force. That is something that's completely wrong.
This is all your opinion. You have no
that's
stats.
The facts, Brian.
And you decide that you have something you think you can run on while you're diminishing the credibility of people putting their lives on a daily basis to go crack down on illegals amongst us. Why do you care about more about illegals and their safety and welfare than American safety and welfare?
So, Brian, maybe you didn't hear me clearly. 228 people out of over 300,000 are MS-13. It's a complete lie or myth to say that it's a bunch of criminals at the border.
Okay.
I've been there. It's a bunch of people.
You should look them in the face and tell them they should be fired. Tell them they're fired when you go see them and see the response you get.
I'm going to reassign them to allow them to actually do their important duties and not be the president's police force.
Bye, Congressman. See ya.
Okay, see